Welcome to the Culer Corner podcast with your host Jose Gonzalez
Ayham Ali.
and
Ari Shang Pin.
now we have a new master of kung fu, of meditation and the arts in our podcast today. He's going to be giving insightful insight about footballing takes, about everything. This guy, he's studied ball so long that he actually has two of them. So now we must begin our episode. Thank you, Hokage Ariel. Now, we started this episode with Real Oviedo and Barcelona at home. Now, this was a must-win game. Barcelona were 1 point under Real Madrid at this time because Real Madrid played earlier in the game week, and this was a must-win game for them. Now, this was the first game back home, and it's so good to be back. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I saw the Camp Nou again. I started tearing up. I was like, finally, bro. Like, getting back with the Camp Nou. Ooh, top 10 feelings. What do you guys think about, getting back with the Camp Nou? And we'll talk about the situation that happened there later. So,
Well, I think it was a must-win game coming into this. There was a lot of pressure on the team. It was the first game back home in like a month and a half, and it was must-win, even though it was against a lower division, like a relegation side. It was still like very, very important game because Madrid were ahead of us at this time, and we needed to keep the lead ahead of them. So it was like I said, it was a must-win game, and there was a lot of pressure coming into the game as well. And we saw in the first half, Oviedo actually played much better than us, and they were pressing a lot. They were getting a lot of chances, and Barcelona never really looked like they were into this game up until the second half, where there was just individual brilliance from players like Lamine Yamal, Dani Olmo, Rafinha to just help us get out of this game and get 3 points.
Yeah, so to be honest, being at home is also where you recharge the body and the mind stays sharp. And that's when you recharge your chi. So honestly, being at home is like essential for peace. We saw it with tonight with the 3-0 victory. I just felt like all of the players were finally at peace. I've been observing them for quite some time now in the away games. I just feel like they're a little bit stressed, like the fans, everybody. But now that we're at home, we can finally recharge our minds, stay healthy, and stay sharp.
thank you, Master. Now, we need to talk about the situation that happened at the Camp Nou, where it started raining in Barcelona, and the whole stadium, you could see videos of it. It was flooding. Now, there's people criticizing it. They're saying like, how is this a new Old Trafford? Like, this shouldn't be a playable stadium. But I think everyone who says that have caveman brains, and they're genuinely worse than Ilias. Like, if you've seen Ilias in our previous podcast episodes, you can see his brain's about this big. Not the biggest, the smartest guy on earth, right? He seems like the type of guy to get a 70 on a math final. Like, who would ever do that? And then, like, essentially, this guy, like, the people who are saying this are caveman brains. They know the stadium's unfinished, and like when something doesn't have a roof, of course rain's gonna come down into it. Like use your brains. They think it's already been finished. Like who are these people? Genuinely use your brains for once. Stop getting 70s on your math finals. Like that's genuinely the most disappointing thing. Like you just, no, that's wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like who would get 70s on their math finals, right? Like me and Jose would never get 70s, right?
You got a
Um,
70.
we would never get 70s on our math finals, right? But the rain didn't even really impact that much. It was near the end of the game anyway, when it was already 3-0, it was like in the 80th minute or something like that. So the game was already almost over. And of course, when it's an unfinished stadium, of course there's gonna be rain coming down. And you should be like prepared for that, you know what I'm saying? Like check the weather before you go to a game, maybe, right? And then maybe you won't, be so surprised by the rain, you know? Like people like Ariel are what caused the rain. And if you were to like look at his like meditation techniques, you would be able to save yourself from the rain a little bit. And I think they need to they need to focus and like they need to know that before they go to a game, you know what I'm saying?
Rain leaking through the holes in the roof is like a slow betrayal from the sky. Drip by drip, it finds every weak spot, stains the ceiling, and reminds you that even the strongest home has its cracks if you don't patch them in time. Fix the holes before the storm turns into your sanctuary into a puddle.
Arigato, master. Now, like, we can see that Barcelona's style of play is so beautiful. Everyone at that stadium got so wet seeing that game. Everyone just started leaking everywhere, especially after they saw that Dani Olmo goal. This guy, Dani Olmo, everyone at the stadium was wet after seeing that goal. I mean, this guy was playing horribly. I mean, like that was probably one of his most stinker games, but he always somehow manages to find a way to score a beautiful goal. Now, I wasn't at that stadium, but I promise you, I was wet.
All right, so talking about the Daniel Olmo goal, I think it's just a perfect way to describe Barcelona's attack, right? In the way that their pressing led to a mistake, which eventually led to that first goal. And we saw how their pressing led to multiple goals in this game as well, with that Rafinha goal as well. And it just shows, the high risk of the high line with conceding a lot of opportunities, but as well as the high reward as well with the two goals coming from the high press.
Yeah, so Daniel Olmo's goal is a moment of pure stillness. One calm touch, one quiet breath, one effortless swing of the boot, and the ball glides in to the bottom corner like water finding its way home. While the Barca press, it was relentless and coordinated, it suffocated Oviedo's escape routes, turning the defense into inevitable attack, into perfect and harmony.
Thank you, Master. That was very insightful of you. Now, we also need to talk about something I forgive my Ayham for, which is clowning on him for saying to rest Rafinha last episode. Now, I said, why would you ever rest Rafinha? Why would you ever start Rafinha? I was an advocate for resting him. But fortunately, Rafinha scored and I was proved wrong. Now, I apologize for my previous statements. I clearly showed that I made a mistake, and I admit that. Thanks to my master Ariel, I have learned to overcome those mistakes. Because we need to talk about that Rafinha goal. What do you guys think of it? And I mean, this guy Rafinha is so class. I don't even need to like talk about him anymore. Like I talked about Dani Olmo, but Rafinha, so good.
That goal just like perfectly describes Rafinha and what he brings to this team. It just shows his relentless pressing throughout the whole defense and how he was able to force a mistake out of the David Costas. He was able to force a mistake out of him and get the opportunity and get that goal. And it just shows how ruthless Rafinha is and the press and the strength, the the leadership that he brings to the squad.
Yeah, so it was a terrible back pass from the Real Oviedo team. To let Rafinha penetrate the back like that, it just completely uncalled for. And honestly, Rafinha, I feel like the way he's playing, his current form, his last season as well, it's like if someone gave Rafinha Viagra. I mean, I was not seeing these type of performances with Xavi, but I feel like Rafinha is like his goal tally is just so much longer now with Viagra. And I feel like the impact he has on the Barca team is absolutely essential. I mean, Rafinha's chip is the quiet follow-up to the Daniel goal. He receives the loose back pass like a gift from the universe, takes one soft touch to settle the chaos, then lifts it delicately over the keeper with the calm certainty, like someone who knows the outcome before the ball leaves his foot.
I mean, you perfectly said it. I mean, that was a beautiful, beautiful analogy of his goal. But we need to talk about a beautiful, beautiful goal as well. Now, before we talk about that, you said something perfect. We talked about how Rafinha's hole needed to be filled. He went and filled his own hole. This guy Rafinha, he fills holes every time and he penetrates so well. I mean, Rafinha, it made me cry. But something that also made me cry, tears of joy, was that Lamine Yamal goal. No, no words. That was the most beautiful bicycle kick I've ever seen. Ronaldo could never do that. Ronaldo could never do. Who's Ronaldo against Juventus? Who? I don't know him. I know Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Ebana. This guy. Oh my gosh. I stood up and clapped for him. I'm being so serious. That was a wonderful, beautiful goal from almost the edge of the box. The way he just slid it into the bottom corner. This guy, he can slide it in me.
Okay, so like that Lamine Yamal goal was genuinely like perfect. Like that bicycle kick, the way it just started off with Danny Olmo playing a Trivela pass to Lamine Yamal, and it just falls slightly behind him, and he just thinks for a second, like, let me be like Ayham real quick, and he just goes back and he tilts his body back and he hits a bicycle kick into the bottom corner. Like it's the type of thing that I would do, and it's like we've never seen something like that before. Like Ronaldo against Juventus does not compare with Lamine Yamal's bicycle kick against Real Oviedo in the 20th position in La Liga. Like it's nowhere close. Like this goal was like amazing, and it just shows like the level of potential that this kid has to have a bicycle kick in your goal catalog at 18 when you have so many more years left. It's just insane. It just shows the potential that the guy has is like out of this world.
I just want to take a moment to clap up Ahab for using his imagination, because we all know he has never scored a bicycle kick like that. So
I did
Yamal's
yesterday, but
bicycle kick is like, sorry,
I'll score one tomorrow.
I'm speaking right now, little man. So Yamal's bicycle kick is like finally getting that perfect teasing angle after a long buildup. Then everything aligns, just right. The moment hangs in the air for a heartbeat. Then it drops in clean, deep, and satisfying, letting everyone breathless and in grinning.
Thank you, Master. Wow, I mean, your words truly speak to my heart. Now, after seeing that goal, so let me tell you about a little story about my room. I was watching this game in my room, and my room was painted black, completely black. Like the floor was black, the walls were black, the ceiling was black. I saw that goal go in,
Were you black?
everything went white. Everything, just nut everywhere. I started it like sperm everywhere. Just it just went everywhere. I mean, you don't see this every day. Like I got too excited and just now we need to talk about that second half performance. All of these goals were in the second half. Now, I wanted to know why you guys think that the second half like changes and why in the first half we were so poor. What happened in the changing room? What do you think was the main difference between first half and second half?
I mean, we saw from the get go in this game, Real Oviedo came with so much intensity. They had so much chances, and they were playing like the better team in this game. They were, attacking way more than Barcelona. They were controlling the ball more. They had way more opportunities, and they were much more of a threat than Barcelona. Like there isn't really many like chances you could pick out from that first half that Barcelona had. It was pretty much all Real Oviedo, and Hansi Flick must have told the players something, or something must have clicked because they came out to that second half and they put on a much better performance. They had much better chances, and the players themselves performed much better individually as well in that second half. We saw from the goals from Dani Olmo, Lamine Yamal, and Rafinha as well. They just came out and they played much better overall.
Yeah, so I was observing the first half and I just felt like there was like a bunch of scattered energy. So the chi was hesitant and dispersed, and it was just waiting for a moment to center. So while the second half arrives, as deep exhale of release, the press tightens. They tighten up in the back like a cold spring unwinding. The ball flows around now that their energy is aligned. But I think a main problem in the first half was there was too many white players and not enough black players. Because like yin and yang, there needs to be a black and a white. So subbing on Kunde was a perfect substitution and tactical analysis from Hansi Flick to get that perfect balance of black and white.
Wow. Wow. Truly clappable stuff. I will clap you up after this podcast. It's just truly, truly invigorating and girthy words that you say. Now, we need to talk about Hansi Flick's, because in my opinion, as Hansi Flick's team talks, I think this Hansi Flick, this guy, he does something to his team during halftime. I don't know what he does, but he puts something in his players during halftime. He he makes them want to go out and fill that hole. And I think he really inspires them to chase after that ball. And I think he Hansi Flick, he's a amazing coach. We know this, coached by he was actually coached by the great Coach Pineda, Coach Ariel. Um like we know the legends that he's won. He's won 18 Champions League with Luton Town. And I mean this guy just insane. And I think Hansi Flick, he does something to his team during halftime, and we see this in a lot of games too. This guy during the Champions League, we always play better during the second half, and I think it's just because Hansi Flick is putting something in his players. I don't know what it is. I just can't quite put my finger on it, but he does something to his players that make them hungrier.
My name is Arishang Rapin.
Raping?
As I was as I was saying, Hansi Flick's pep talk is the calm, steady breath that unblocks the team's chi. Short, piercing words that realign the team's system into the flowing, unstoppable second half dominance we keep on seeing. Like a slow tease in the back, building tension until the release hits hard and deep, leaving opponents breathless and the pitch soaked in satisfaction.
Great, wise words by Ariel Shin. Now, I want to ask you guys, Ronald Araujo and Marco Rashford, they did not play this game against last in the league. Why do you guys think that was? Do you think there's something going on behind the scenes? Do you think there's an issue with the coach? Is it just like rotations? Is is Ronald Araujo officially considered too washed for Barcelona in terms of like Hansi Flick standards? I don't know what you guys think because I want to hear your thoughts.
Personally, I don't think that it means like Araujo is in Barcelona standard anymore because he came on in that Champions League game late on in the game around the 80th minute against Slavia Praha, right? And that was an important game for Barcelona to win. Yet he still came on in that important game. Hansi Flick trusted him to come on and to keep that defense secure, right? So I think just in this game, I think he focused more on, you know, trying to get, the goals, right? Didn't really feel like putting on the defender to make it more like secure at the back as for the Slavia Praha game where we really wanted to hold on to our lead. And that was mainly the reason why Araujo came on in that second half. I just didn't think there was really mainly a reason for him to come on in this game against Oviedo, right? When they were 3-0 up and the game is pretty much finished, right? As for Marcus Rashford, uh personally I don't know why Hansi Flick didn't bring him on. I think maybe he could have brought him on later on in the second half. But I also think it's criminal for you to try to make his name Spanish when he's an Englishman. When you try to say Marcus Rashford,
His name is
right?
Marcus. His name is Marcus Rashford. That's how you say his name. Like
He's
if you listen,
English
if you
and he's
just
from
have
Manchester.
ball knowledge.
He's from
Okay,
Manchester.
let me just
Marco Rojo.
listen. Joan Gamper was Swiss, but he created Football Club Barcelona. So do you want to be Football Club Barcelona because he's Switzerland? They speak French. No, it's Catalan and in Spanish. Okay, listen. Just because he's from England doesn't mean you have to say Marcus Rashford, MBE from England. God save the king. No, his name is Marcus Rashford. That's how you say his name.
I guess, bro. I guess I'm just like I'll just like give him a DM later, and I'll ask him, and he'll send me a voice message, and like I'll let you know.
I got you. I got you. What
So
is Ariel?
Araujo and I took a quiet trip earlier along the year together to clear his mind, sitting in stillness on earth, breathing deeply together and meditating until his focus returned sharp and centered like a blade freshly honed. Araujo and Rashford, they're two black kings. Stay chained to the bench by a white man. Like the system still hasn't learned to let the brothers breathe and dominate when their energy is needed most.
Wow, that is truly. Now, I think in this game it was very apparent the absence of Pedro Gonzalez Lopez, aka Pedri, aka the best midfielder in the world, aka Bellingham's pocketer, aka the man who I cried about last week and every day this week because I couldn't see him play. I think everyone saw his absence in the game. I don't know if you guys want to add your thoughts to that, but in my opinion, you could clearly tell his absence. I think with him in this game, it would have been easily 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, 11-0. Just because this guy, he just adds so much rhythm to the game and rhythm that we saw lacking during the first half. Now, with other news, talking about Barcelona and other midfielders, even though he's playing more like an attacker now, we have breaking news just came out earlier today that Fermin Lopez is signing a contract extension to 2031. Now, I want to ask you guys, is this good or no? Because in my opinion, one of the best players in Barcelona right now.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best players in Barcelona, one of the best players in the world right now. I think he's having a killer season. He has more than 20 GA right now. One of the best attacking midfielders in the world, and I think this contract extension is absolutely deserved. I think he's going to provide so much more for Barcelona in the next coming years until 2031. And I think it's just he's a fantastic player. And this contract extension is just like it just shows like he'll be helping us in for a very, very long time.
Fermin Lopez contract extension until 2031 is the perfect alignment of energy and chi, locking in his vibrant, flowing spirit at the heart of Barca for a very long time, ensuring the team's midfield pulse stays strong, centered, and unstoppable as inner power continues to rise and harmonize with the Blaugrana's dynasty.
Wow. Your words are making me tear up, bro. They're so bad. Now, we need to talk about a thing that made me really, really mad. I I gotta admit, I kind of let out my inner alpha wolf. I started howling at the moon this night because Real Madrid robbed Villarreal. Now, Mbappe scored a goal in the 47th minute, and they were like winning the entire game. It was a really, really, really just tight and close and just like a dirty game, right? And then just as Villarreal were getting a lot of chances, because you know how Madrid is in the last minutes when they're winning, they just like play at the back and like, let's just secure this win and go home. They don't want to attack in the last minutes. They're not Barcelona. They play scared. Uh, and then these guys, just as Villarreal were attacking, constantly pressing, they were looking like they were gonna get the equalizer. Guess who gets another penalty? It feels like every episode we talk about this, but Real Madrid got another penalty, mind you, a horrible, horrible penalty. Now, I think that's just like, see, that's a picture of me. If you see it, if you're seeing the video, that's a picture of me that Ayham is showing. And that is because you just can't be giving away penalties that are fake. This is a false penalty. And of course, who else but the Pichichi and Mbappe did it? I said this last episode. We can't be having more penalties going to Real Madrid. Like, why only Real Madrid? There, in the history since VAR has existed, Real Madrid are leading the second place team in penalties in favor by 40 penalties. Like, and then the other teams, like second to third, is like 3 penalties. Third to fourth is like 5 penalties. Like, the difference and the favoritism that is clear about this league is insane, is completely insane and utterly just unacceptable.
Yeah, so Madrid getting penalties is like Jose told me this earlier, it's like his ex managing to get him super hard and finish inside of him every single time they hook up. And suspiciously consistent, feels rigged in his favor, and leaves the rest of us wondering if the ref's whistle is just code for bend over again, in Jose's exact words.
Wallahi, I never said that.
Yeah, so like, you know, Villarreal was showing much more intensity in the later parts of the game. And then they get another undeserved penalty from a dive. I think this one is just as looks the exact same as their penalty in their last game. Both just dives from Mbappe.
Yeah, I don't want to really dwell on this topic a lot. I just need to cover it and just let my anger out, because if not, I might turn into a woo, an alpha wolf again. Now, we need to talk about the big game this week. Some might even say it's the most important game. Let's just say it is UEFA Champions League time again. This Wednesday, every single team in the Champions League is going to be playing at the exact same time. And Barcelona have a chance to make the top 8. We are facing Kobenhavn, or Copenhagen for you normies. And then we need to talk about some match stats before this. Copenhagen hasn't lost in their last 3 matches. Now, that is worrying form for a team that's looked a bit shaky in the past Champions League, and then the past matches as well. And their last UCL match, they held Napoli to a 1-1 draw. Now, Napoli isn't, Barcelona tier, but they're a good team, and holding them to a 1-1 draw when we need to beat them by a bunch of goals is completely, like, it's worrying. They are missing Rooney Vardaji, though. And then it's a home match for Barcelona. We've won our last 10 home matches, and in La Liga, in the Camp Nou. And I think, as I said, there's something special about the Camp Nou. It's like my ex. If you're listening, please text me back. And then yeah, Barcelona, they need to win by a lot. Now, there are, I think, 8 teams? I think we talked about this last episode. There are 8 teams or 9 teams, all on 13 points. Now, the only thing that's the difference between them is goal differential. If we want to make top 8, we need to beat Copenhagen, and by a minimum of 3 goals, in my opinion. I don't think there's going to be like 4-0, 3-0 wins across the board. So if we win them by 3 goals, I think we're guaranteed top 8, and that'll lift a lot of our weight off our shoulders, especially for our injury concerns. Now, we need to pull this off. Do you guys think we can do that?
I mean, I think as long as we win our game, we're pretty much secure top 8. Because if you look at the other fixtures, PSG and Newcastle, they're both on 13 points. No matter what the outcome of that game is, one of them, at least one of them, is dropping, which means Barcelona take their spot. So basically, Barcelona is guaranteed top 8 if they win, pretty much, unless some of the other teams win by 5, 6, 7 goals. Barcelona's pretty much guaranteed top 8. But to be safe, Barcelona should try and win this game as if it's a big opposition, or if it's a final, because we know this is a very important game. Barcelona should go out with their strongest squad and try to put up 3, 4, 5 goals in this game to guarantee a high spot in the top eight, even though I think that they're already pretty much guaranteed to finish in the top eight unless they drop points and they put a bad performance.
Yeah, so I've been observing Barca's energy shift like a tide. First halves often feel a little bit scattered and hesitant, the chi blocked, but the second halves, exhale into flowing dominance as the team aligns and unleashes, you could say, with unstoppable harmony. And I believe this pattern will help out Barcelona in the long run until building in an unbreakable dynasty. And I personally believe that Barcelona will in fact qualify for top eight.
Wow, truly invigorating stuff. And we are still again missing Pedri for this game. I mean, I talked about the impact of Pedri earlier in last episode. I don't want to cry again, but how do you think Pedri's absence is going to affect it? And I would also like to hear your guys' starting 11. So Ahab, if you could talk about Pedri and then your starting 11.
I think Pedri's absence in the past game and in this game as well is going to be like very visible in this game. But I think against Copenhagen, although it's gonna be visible, obviously, but Barcelona is still gonna control that midfield in my opinion, and they're still gonna put a solid performance in. And my starting 11, I think Flick should go with his strongest 11. Should go with Joan Garcia in goal, Balde at the left, Eric Garcia and Kubarsi in the center backs, and Kunde on the right. I think he should go. Smash haircut. I think he should go with um, De Jong and Casador as the two midfielders with Fermin at the 10. Or he can also go with De Jong and Olmo as two midfielders with Fermin at the 10. Lamine Yamal on the right, Rafinha on the left, and Lewandowski up front.
Yeah, so we know Pedri is like the heartbeat of Barcelona. He keeps the rhythm steady. His absence creates a void and press resistant control. So obviously Barcelona will miss him, but I think they will be able to replace him the best they can with Casado and De Jong in the midfield. We will probably see the same defense, which I think the strongest defense, which Ayham mentioned it, Balde at left back, Gerard Maldini and Cubarsi, and Koundé at right back. Lewandowski, a striker. Cam, I got Dani Olmo with Rafinha out wide with Lamine Yamal.
Wow, wise words from you, Ariel. And now I'm going into my starting lineup. But similar to both of you guys is with Joan Garcia in goalkeeper, Kunde and Balde as right back and left back, Eddie Garcia and Gerard Maldini in the center back position. Now in my midfield, I will be having Frenkie de Jong and Marc Casado, both playing sort of the deep lying midfielders with Fermin Lopez. I've talked about this earlier, just such a good midfielder. I'm glad that he's been renewed. And Rooney Bardghji, I think, even though I would like him to play against Kobenhavn, uh, I think it would be Lamine Yamal starting and Rafinha on the left wing with Robert Lewandowski in the striker. I think that it's just a proven offense, and I think with this team we can beat any opponent. Now, I want to know your guys' standout player for this match because for me, after the game I saw this weekend, it is no doubt, undoubtedly, going to be Lamine Yamal. This guy is back in form. He's shooting again. He's confident again. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, Lamine Yamal, you did this. You're so good. And I'm like, yes, he is. So if, like, for example, a little kid comes up to me and he says,
yo, bro, like, your lineup is so buns, bro. Diddy out lineup.
I shoot the kid 9 times because my lineup is the perfect lineup. That kid is dead. He's never seen the light of day again because my lineup is the perfect lineup. We will get into the score predictions in a second after I hear Ayham's and Ariel's standout players.
All right, so my standout player is going to be Lamine Yamal as well. I think he had a great performance against Who do we play? Oviedo. I think he had a great performance against Oviedo, and I think he's just gonna ball out in this game against Copenhagen. I do think Rooney Barnes is gonna come off the bench in this game. I think he's gonna come off the bench, and I think he's gonna have an impact as well. But for me, I think the best player is gonna be Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, I just want to comment on Jose's story with the kid. I personally would never resort to violence. I like to find inner peace. So me personally, I would snap his spine cord in half, uh, paralyzing him for the rest of his life. Um, so,
No, see,
um,
okay, wait. I'm sorry to intervene. That is actually truly a wise option because if you paralyze the kid, you're giving him an opportunity to have more inner thoughts instead of, going outside to play and being on the game, which is known to be detrimental. So paralyzing kids, that's a good thing to do.
exactly, and it trains him to overcome obstacles in his future. So, moving on, I think my standout player would be Joan Garcia. I think Barcelona's defense might just not be tight enough in the back. I don't think the marking is going to be tight enough on the strikers, and we may just see Barcelona's defense get penetrated in the back if they're not tight enough. So I think John Garcia is going to be in the position to make plenty of saves and will once again save Barcelona.
And what do you think the score is going to be?
Think it's going to be a 5-0 victory for Barcelona.
Ayham?
I think it's gonna be comfortable for Barcelona. I think they're gonna score four. It might be 4-0 or 4-1.
And my score prediction, I think, if I'm being realistic, based on just the form that we've been seeing from Barcelona, I think it's going to be a 2-0 win, but we will qualify for the top 8. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we'll qualify for the top 8?
Yes, I think Barcelona will qualify to the top 8 comfortably as well.
Barcelona, they have the ability, and there should be no reason why Barcelona lose to Copenhagen. So after observing their chi and their energy levels and the flow of the matches, I personally think that Barcelona would comfortably qualify for top 8.
Wow, that is truly insightful words. And before I end this episode, I just want to make some quick announcements for the future of Culer Corner. Now, first off, I want you guys to know that unfortunately we couldn't have our other host Elias Mahnin here today because he was dealing with heavy diarrhea. Prayers out to him and his family because they have to smell that. And he actually sent the group chat a picture of it, and it looked very, very bad. And Ayham was the only one who said he would want to eat it, so that's kind of weird. And then
I was just
in other
repeating what
news
you told
about
me
Ayham,
in private.
this guy, I just want you guys to know, he lost to me 14 times in a row in Rocket League, and I think that's about to happen to Copenhagen. They're about to lose 14 times in a row, and by lose I mean get scored on 14 times in a row by Barcelona. And
Aren't you the
Ariel,
same
he's
guy that
gone
got
to
scared
bigger
to
and
play
better
me in
things.
FIFA?
So Ariel has gone into bigger and better things, and now we have Ariel Lishu, or I'm sorry, Master, I forgot the name, but I only call him Master. So that's why you saw a bit of a different character today. And unfortunately, Coach Ariel the
It's not a
first has
character, it's
passed
a
away.
personality, bro. Get it right.
So I want to thank you guys for listening to Culer Corner. Unshout out to Goofy. We've seen your comments, and I've disliked all of them. Please never comment again.
Absolute wanka,
Love you,
man.
Goofy, and thank you for listening to our very serious and insightful Ball Knowledge Required Culer Corner podcast.